Why do you actually rush yourself on a Monday morning? Why do you rush yourself on a month end? Why do you think that things are going awry and things are going completely indifferent in a span of a month? We are obsessed with finding happiness in the outside world, and our efforts to achieve it and our clinging to extend the circumstances, in fact, make us very miserable. Someone with law within himself and someone with law outside himself. We got these two individuals. A person who thinks the law is within himself and the person who believes that the law is outside himself. Skill. Pure, absolute, sharp, strong skill. But if the archer is worried about the result, if the archer is put in a competition, if there are other 20-25 archers who are also competing with this champion archer, do you really think the person will have the same kind of shooting skill unleashed? No. Hey friends, thank you so much for joining me in this video. My name is Manikandan Sundaresan and today is November 7th, 2022. The whole world is rushing towards something. The whole universe is rushing towards happiness, health, wealth, prosperity. I thought in this video I would speak something opposite about all that. What we are going to speak in this video is how not to worry, because everything is out of your control. That's why I have put up this particular title called as Living Without Worry. You see, we're all obsessed with control. We're all really thinking that happiness is lying somewhere outside. And by earning money, by allocating the wealth and asset, we think that the happiness will stay very long with us and we will be very much settled and we will be happy for a long time. We will be contented for a long time. Here I would like to bring up the ancient concept called as Taoism. We are obsessed with control, but the Taoist sages teach the opposite. They teach us how to let go. You need to let go. We are obsessed with finding happiness in the outside world, and our efforts to achieve it and our clinging to extend the circumstances, in fact, make us very miserable. When you are trying to control something, when you are trying to plan, when you are trying to put your efforts strenuously, that's a real good thing. It's an appreciable fact. You are working hard in your domain. You are really having the deserving capability of working hard, and you really deserve the right for being very happy. But what happens is, when you are taking a lot of efforts, you lose your own self in that particular pathway and you lose yourself in that transit. That's where Taoism principle says that you need to learn how to let go. Because Taoism also explains that you need to become aware of emptiness. Being aware of emptiness means you have to let the nature take its course and move with the nature rather than moving against it. So simplistically, if you are asking a question, is it go with the flow? The answer is yes, going with the flow. Why do you actually rush yourself on a Monday morning? Why do you rush yourself on a month end? Why do you think that things are going awry and things are going completely indifferent in a span of a month? Why are you getting so much pressured and why are you getting so much stressed when you're not supposed to get stressed, when everything is taken care of yourself? Look at the life for the past 15 or 20 years. 15-20 is a very long span. I wanted to just go through your past 2 or 3 years. There has been a guiding force that has held your hand like this and it has taken you this far. It has brought you this far. The same guide light will hold your hand and it will take you to the future too. When that's going to be the fact, why are we so much obsessed with the future, and why are we so much obsessed with the happiness? Why are you always in search of happiness? Taoism says that be empty, feel empty. Don't anticipate anything, don't expect anything. If you are working in a particular task, put your entire mind into the task. And if you are asking a question, is it mindfulness that you are speaking about? I would say yes. A 2500 years old philosophy called as Taoism, brought to this world by Lao Tzu from China, is a very historical concept. We need to give the same kind of respect that we give for Buddhism, we give for Jainism, and also we give for the spiritual teachings of somebody like Rumi. Taoism is very, very centric. Stoicism, Socratism, Taoism, all these teach indispensable concepts that will only enable us to live free. Taoism gives almost about 5 or 6 anecdotes. Let me first list out the anecdotes, the ways of living. The first way of living, leave things alone. The second way of living, stop looking for happiness. The third way of living, learn to see the emptiness. The fourth way of living, understand the inner law. And the fifth and final way of living is, don't worry about fate. These are all the teachings of Taoism, and it applies so vividly for the current living scenario. Now let us go to the first teaching, the first anecdote, leave things alone. This one teaches you that you need to give freeness to everything. Let nature unfold itself. Don't pressurize things. Don't force people. Don't force circumstances. Don't force the laws of nature. Things will automatically take care of yourself. Suppose you are working on a project, you can only tell the resources and the availability of time about the project to the people who are concerned to do the project. You cannot force people. When you are worried about the result, that's where you are getting stressed. And Taoism teaches that when you are not worried about the results, and when you are crystal clear about the actions that you are taking, when that crystal clear mindset alone is in store, then things will automatically take care of themselves. Because we've got a preset standards of our results. If the result is like this, I will get successful. If the result is like in a certain way, I will be feeling more contented. So the preset mindset about the result is what is really making you feel stressed and pressurized. So leave things alone. All you have to do is just work and forget it. Give your best potential, give your 100%, give the best of your capability, and forget. Leave the results for itself. That's the first teaching. Leave things alone. Stop looking for happiness. Don't search for happiness. When you put more pressure within yourself and when you're searching for the happiness, what happens is the happiness goes far away from you. Without understanding that happiness is the way, you search for happiness, and let's say you are getting a reward in your occupation. Find where happiness is there. Are you happy because of the reward that was given to you? Or are you happy that you have got deserved to get that reward? Or are you happy about the time that you got the receive? You received the reward. The time that you received the reward. So, Taoism says that you need to be contented about the reward reality. I got the reward. That's happiness. Fine. I'm satisfied with it. And I would like to live and I would like to soak myself. I would like to sink in that particular happiness of receiving the reward. I don't want to search any more happiness after this. First, let me live this. First, let me, when you are having this day's course of lunch, you don't think about the dinner that you are going to have 6 hours or 7 hours later. Right? So, don't search for happiness. And the happiness is around. Sink into it. And understand that happiness cannot be cultivated. But happiness can be generated in a specific moment if you are really having the intention into your heart. That's the second teaching. Third one, see the emptiness. What do you mean by seeing the emptiness? When somebody is appreciating, you can see the emptiness in the appreciation. When somebody is bringing a criticism to you, you can see the emptiness in the criticism. When somebody is finding fault, you can see the emptiness there too. Seeing emptiness is not receiving the kind of appreciation, not receiving the kind of criticism, not receiving the kind of, fault or any other troubles or struggles that people are trying to give you. You're just accepting that it is a situation and that situation is bound to happen and I am into it. I need not react to the situation. And if you behave like that, that's, my dear friends, is called as emptiness. So emptiness is, in a way, not reacting. Emptiness is, in a way, not giving too much of your energy towards something. Just move easy and go easy. You see, in life, you will be trying to be very strong. And the others will be expecting you to be very, very strong. And the others will have an expectation that you will deal these circumstances in a certain way. And they will have an anticipation about you. And during that time, the others will not be knowing what kind of pressure you are undergoing. Nobody cares about it. But in emptiness, you just block out all the expectations around you and you focus on your own self and you think about your own tactic and your own tactical method of taking efforts, your own belief system and your own thought patterns. Not allowing anybody else's expectations to come towards you. And that's called as emptiness. Think about these three principles that we have discussed so far. Leave things alone, stop looking for happiness and seeing the emptiness. You see, life becomes like a feather if you start living like this. Which brings us to the fourth anecdote or fourth way of living. Understanding the inner law. Someone with law within himself and someone with law outside himself. We got these two individuals. A person who thinks the law is within himself and the person who believes that the law is outside himself. Let's see the difference between these two. Someone with law within himself, that person acts without being influenced by the approval and disapproval of others. Someone with law outside himself, that person is always directed by things outside his control and thus becomes a plaything of the outside circumstances. Whatever happens in the outside world decides his own mind and his mood. So basically, when he tries to extend his power over objects, those objects gain control over him. So which person you would like to be? Someone who understands that the law is within the self or someone who believes that the law is outside the self? Because if you choose the second option, believing that the law is outside yourself, you will be influenced by the circumstances and you will be expecting the approval from the others. You will be expecting somebody's approval for your happiness. You will be expecting somebody's approval for your contentment, satisfaction, fulfillment. You would exercise control over others and you will let others control over you. But on the contrary, if you are someone with the law, believes that the law is within yourself, then you will resonate deep down into your mind. The lesson we learn here is you should be averting your own attention and desire from the outside world and you should turn it within. Ultimately, it is not the world that decides how you feel. It is your mind that decides how you feel. This is the difference between the first person and the second person. If you understand that the law is within yourself, you will take complete control over your mind and you will never seek others' approval. You will seek only your approval for becoming happy. At any given point of time, whichever feeling you would like to manifest, whichever feeling you would like to articulate within yourself is in complete control of your own hands. Nobody else controls it. Alright? So you don't try to control others, nor you allow others to control you. And this is called as understanding of the inner law. At any given point of time, be it a waiting period, be it an action period, be it an assessment period, whichever period it is, you can always control your inner law. And you can cultivate contentment, happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment, positive energy, everything, because it's all in there. So believe in your inner law. Everything is out of control, but we have control over our thoughts, choices, and attitude. Now let's move on to the last one. The fifth way of living, the fifth teaching, and the fifth anecdote of Taoism. Not worrying about the fate. Not worrying about the fate. Let's take an example about an archer. Okay, so the archer holds the bow and holds the arrow, and the person pulls the arrow towards the back, and the person aims on the target, and the person really hits the target on the bullseye. Skill. Pure, absolute, sharp, strong skill. But if the archer is worried about the result, if the archer is put in a competition, if there are other 20-25 archers who are also competing with this champion archer, do you really think the person will have the same kind of shooting skill unleashed? No. An archer may shoot perfectly during practice, but he will shoot horribly when he competes. That's the difference. Not worrying about the fate is the ability to do the same whether you are in the competition or you are not in the competition. You're just doing your best. Whether you are being watched, whether you are competed, or you are just doing it for fun. Play for fun, not for win. Just utilize your skill and show the best of your skills as much as you could. But if you are competing, the judgmental error happens and your skill is the same. There is no change in the skill, but the performance level completely gets into a discrimination pattern because you are competing. This is where all the problem arises. So balancing your mind and not worrying about the fate is the next teaching, and you need to practice your mind to do that. As soon as we desire a specific outcome, we worry about the outcome, and we also worry about the possibility of not achieving it. So when your mind is put up with the outcome, when your mind is completely gelled into the result, then you're not giving your complete potential. But when your mind is completely aligned towards your skill and your ability to give your 100% and not worrying about the outcome, there you are an ace player and you perform so better. So everything is out of control, so you need not worry. The only thing that you have control over is the things that are happening inside. This is what Taoism teaches, and let us abide and obey what Taoism teaches, and let us live by it. Live calm, live happy, live contented, live with passion. Try this at least for the next 20 days and give me your feedback. Thank you so much. This is Manikandan Sundaresan, and I'll be meeting you in my next video. Jai Hind.